Somewhere in America, right now, a 68-year-old man is writing a check he doesn't have to write. He's been paying the same bill for 40 years. No one ever told him to stop. Not his bank, not his insurance company, not even the government agency in charge of it. This isn't a scam, it's something worse. It's a system so complicated, so quietly designed, that most seniors never find the exit door. Somewhere between retirement paperwork and holiday phone calls with family, the information got lost, buried in fine print, skipped in mailers, left out of conversations that should have happened at every bank counter in the country. Right now, millions of Americans over 65 are still paying for things they are legally allowed to stop paying for. Some of it is small, a few dollars a month. Some of it is not small at all. Thousands of dollars a year, gone for nothing. And the wildest part? This isn't a secret. It's not classified. It's not hidden in some vault. It's sitting in plain sight, inside policies most people never bother to read twice. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which bills you can legally stop paying the moment you turn 65. And you'll understand why almost no one tells you. To understand how this happens, you have to go back to how the system was built. Not built to hide things, built for a different era. An era before the internet, before instant answers. Back then, information traveled through people: a banker across the counter, an insurance agent who knew your name, a city clerk who mentioned things in passing. That system worked for a while. Then everything went digital. Offices closed. Staff got replaced with automated phone lines. The human who used to say, "Hey, you qualify for this," disappeared. But the laws never disappeared. The programs never disappeared. They just stopped being spoken out loud. Today, most of these savings exist only on paper, buried inside state tax codes. Inside insurance handbooks, nobody reads cover to cover. Inside county assessor websites, most people don't know exist. Nobody is required to call you and explain them. Not your bank, not your mortgage company, not even Medicare in most cases. It is technically on you to find out. And that's where the silence begins. Because most seniors aren't spending their retirement digging through legal filings. They're trusting that if something changed, someone would have told them. That single assumption is costing American households billions of dollars a year. Not through fraud, not through theft, through nothing happening at all. Through silence. Through forms that were never filled out. Through phone calls that were never made. Somewhere in your city, right now, there's a county office holding money aside for seniors who never applied. Sitting there, untouched, waiting for paperwork that may never come. This is where our investigation starts. Not with one bill, but with an entire category of bills that quietly change or disappear the moment you cross one number, 65. The first bill hides inside your property tax statement. Most homeowners never look past the total due. They just pay it. Year after year, the same routine. But in most states, something changes when you turn 65. A program most people have never heard of. Some states call it a senior exemption. Others call it a homestead freeze. The names change. The effect is almost always the same. Your home's assessed value gets locked, sometimes reduced. In some counties, seniors qualify for a partial exemption on the entire tax bill. In others, the increase simply stops, permanently, no matter how much home values rise around them. This isn't a rumor. It's written into state law, in one form or another, in the majority of the country. But here's the catch. In almost every state, this exemption is not automatic. You have to apply. In person or through a form at your local county assessor's office. Miss the deadline, and you wait another year. Never apply, and you pay full price, forever. There are homeowners who have lived in the same house for 20 years, paying the rising rate every single year without knowing a lock existed. Not because they weren't paying attention, because no one sent the memo. County offices are not required to notify you individually. Most just publish it, quietly, on a website, in a newsletter, on a bulletin board. The savings can be significant. In some counties, hundreds of dollars a year. In high tax states, sometimes over 1,000. Multiply that across a retirement that could last 20, 30 years. That's not a rounding error. That's a car. That's a year of groceries. That's a bill quietly compounding in the wrong direction, year after year, because one form was never filed. And property tax is just the beginning. Because the next bill isn't about your house, it's about your car. Every year, millions of Americans renew their vehicle registration without a second thought. Same line, same fee, same routine, decade after decade. But in a number of states, that fee changes once you hit a certain age. Some states quietly reduce vehicle registration costs for senior drivers. Others waive certain add-on fees entirely. A few offer reduced rate multi-year registrations built specifically for retirees. It's not advertised at the counter. It's not stamped on the renewal notice. You find it only if you already know to look for it. Then there's the license itself. In several states, seniors can renew their driver's license at a reduced fee. In some cases, the renewal cycle changes entirely. Longer intervals, fewer trips to the DMV, fewer fees paid over a lifetime. Again, the same pattern repeats. Nobody calls to tell you, nobody flags it during your last renewal. You simply keep paying the standard rate unless you ask the right question to the right clerk on the right day. And it doesn't stop at the DMV. Auto insurance follows the same quiet rulebook. Several major insurers offer mature driver discounts, sometimes tied to a defensive driving course, sometimes triggered automatically at a certain age. The discount can range from a few percent to a significant cut in your annual premium. But here's the catch that repeats through this entire investigation. Insurance companies are not required to proactively apply it. In most cases, you have to ask, by name, by the specific program. Not, do you have any discounts, but do you offer a mature driver discount, and what do I need to qualify? Vague questions get vague answers. Specific questions get specific savings. Multiply this across registration, licensing, and insurance year after year, and the number adds up faster than most people expect. Still, these are small leaks. The next bill is where things get serious, because it doesn't involve your car or your house. It involves the phone in your pocket and the subscriptions quietly draining your bank account every single month. Open your bank statement. Really look at it. Not the total, the line items, streaming services, phone plans, warranty add-ons, membership fees you signed up for years ago and never canceled. Most people scroll past these without thinking twice. But for seniors, an entire second layer exists underneath all of it, one most people never discover. Nearly every major phone carrier in the country offers a senior discount plan. Lower monthly rates, sometimes bundled perks at no extra charge. But almost none of these plans are offered automatically. You are, in most cases, kept on your existing plan, paying the standard rate indefinitely, unless you specifically ask to be switched. Why would a company volunteer to charge you less? They wouldn't. And they don't have to. The same pattern shows up in internet and cable bills. Several major providers have quiet loyalty or senior rate programs, never advertised on the homepage, never mentioned during your annual plan review call. You have to know the name of the program. You have to ask for it directly. Then there's banking. Many banks waive monthly maintenance fees for account holders over 65. No minimum balance required, no hidden condition, just age. But the bank will not switch you automatically. You are simply left on the standard account, paying $10, $15, sometimes more, every single month for a fee that could have been zero. For decades, without anyone saying a word. Add up a phone bill, a cable bill, a banking fee, streaming subscriptions never adjusted. Now multiply that by 12 months, then by every year since you turned 65. For some households, that number crosses into the thousands. Quietly, invisibly. One unchecked box at a time. And still, we haven't touched the biggest one. The bill's so large, so complicated, that most seniors don't even realize part of it is optional: health insurance. This is where the real money hides. Health insurance after 65 becomes a maze most people never fully learn to navigate. Medicare kicks in. Most seniors assume that's the end of the story. Sign up, get covered, done. But Medicare was never designed to cover everything. It was designed to cover a baseline. The gaps are real, and they're expensive. So a second industry grew around those gaps: supplemental plans, advantage plans, prescription drug plans. Dozens of providers, hundreds of combinations, each one priced differently, each one changing year to year. Here's what almost nobody tells you: some seniors are enrolled in supplemental coverage they no longer need, coverage that made sense at 65. But by 70, 75, their health picture changed, their prescriptions changed, and the plan never got reevaluated. Every year, insurance companies run open enrollment, a short window where you're allowed to switch, downgrade, or drop certain coverage entirely. Most seniors let that window pass without a second look, not from carelessness, from assuming the current plan is still the right one. It often isn't. There are seniors paying for prescription drug coverage they don't use, paying premiums stacked on top of premiums for overlapping benefits they already have somewhere else. Some qualify for state run assistance programs that cover part or all of their Medicare premiums and never apply because no one at the enrollment desk mentioned it. These programs exist in every state. They have specific names, specific income thresholds, specific application windows. They are almost never brought up unless you ask directly. The scale of this is enormous. Multiply a few unnecessary premiums across a national population of tens of millions of seniors, and you're looking at a slow, invisible drain measured in the billions. Not stolen, not hidden by force, just never explained. Once, out loud, to the people who needed to hear it. And that silence is the real subject of this documentary, because every single bill we've covered shares one thing in common. This is where the real money hides. Health insurance after 65 becomes a maze most people never fully learn to navigate. Medicare kicks in. Most seniors assume that's the end of the story. Sign up, get covered, done. But Medicare was never designed to cover everything. It was designed to cover a baseline. The gaps are real, and they're expensive. So a second industry grew around those gaps: supplemental plans, advantage plans, prescription drug plans, dozens of providers, hundreds of combinations, each one priced differently, each one changing year to year. Here's what almost nobody tells you: some seniors are enrolled in supplemental coverage they no longer need, coverage that made sense at 65. But by 70, 75, their health picture changed, their prescriptions changed, and the plan never got reevaluated. Every year, insurance companies run open enrollment, a short window where you're allowed to switch, downgrade, or drop certain coverage entirely. Most seniors let that window pass without a second look, not from carelessness, from assuming the current plan is still the right one. It often isn't. There are seniors paying for prescription drug coverage they don't use, paying premiums stacked on top of premiums for overlapping benefits they already have somewhere else. Some qualify for state run assistance programs that cover part or all of their Medicare premiums and never apply because no one at the enrollment desk mentioned it. These programs exist in every state. They have specific names, specific income thresholds, specific application windows. They are almost never brought up unless you ask directly. The scale of this is enormous. Multiply a few unnecessary premiums across a national population of tens of millions of seniors, and you're looking at a slow, invisible drain measured in the billions. Not stolen, not hidden by force, just never explained. Once, out loud, to the people who needed to hear it. And that silence is the real subject of this documentary, because every single bill we've covered shares one thing in common. Ready for part 7 when you are. Write Part 7 and end the script. Here's Part 7, the closing. None of these bills were ever illegal. None of them were scams. No one broke the law by charging you the standard rate. The system worked exactly as it was built to work: quiet, passive, waiting for you to ask the right question. That's the uncomfortable truth at the center of this investigation. The savings were always there, sitting in state law books, sitting in insurance handbooks, sitting in county databases, city ordinances, and provider policy manuals, available to anyone who knew to look, invisible to everyone who didn't. And that's not an accident of malice, it's an accident of design. A system built for a world with fewer people, more clerks, and more conversations across a counter. A world that quietly disappeared, one office closure at a time. What's left behind is a kind of tax, not collected by the government, not collected by any single company, collected by silence itself, paid by anyone who assumed someone would tell them. The good news is simple. Every bill in this video has a way out: a form, a phone call, a single question asked directly to the right person. Property tax exemptions, vehicle and license discounts, phone, cable, and banking senior rates, Medicare reviews during open enrollment. None of it requires luck. All of it requires asking. So if you know someone over 65, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, this is the moment to send them this video. Not because they did anything wrong, because no one ever told them. And somewhere out there, right now, someone is writing a check they don't have to write, waiting for someone to finally say something.